Welcome back, focused learners. Today we're diving into a simple tutorial explainer on something that looks incredibly small, but honestly carries a massive amount of weight in the English language. I'm talking about articles, a, an, and the. We're going to transform these tiny little words from what kind of feels like an arbitrary set of rules into a completely intuitive system for you.
So here's our agenda for today. We're going to cover what articles are, the difference between a and an, the tricky sounds twist, using the correctly, and finally we'll put it all to the test. Let's jump right into part one. What exactly are articles?
All right, let's build the foundation. You can think of articles as the secret adjectives of the English language. They're these tiny words placed directly before nouns, and their entire job is to help us understand if we're talking about a specific thing or just a general thing. For being such short little words, they have massive power in shaping what we actually mean.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we split the entire world of articles into two distinct teams. Over on one side, we have the indefinite articles, which are a and an. And on the other side, flying solo, is the definite article, the. Honestly, just keeping these two categories separated in your head is half the battle won right there.
Moving right along to part two of versus an.
Okay, so whenever you see a or an, I want you to immediately think one of many. You use them when you're talking about one single thing in a totally general sense. And remember, this rule is strictly for singular, countable nouns only. Like, you can totally have a car, but there's no way you can have a waters, right?
So here is the absolute crucial point. Rule number one, a versus an depends entirely on sound, not spelling. I want you to just forget the written letters for a second, close your eyes, and listen. This rule is 100% based on what you actually hear coming out of your mouth.
Now, what's really interesting here is how clearly we can separate the consonant sounds from the vowel sounds using some everyday examples. If we look at the left side, we use a before consonant sounds. A cat, a dog, a car, a book. Now flip over to the right. We use an before vowel sounds. You know, a, e, I, o, u. An apple, an elephant, an ice cream, an orange. Pretty simple when the letter matches the sound, right? But of course, that brings us to part three, the tricky sounds twist.
Because English absolutely loves to throw us a plot twist, right? Take a look at this visual dissonance, the word hour. It clearly starts with the written letter H, which is a consonant. But say it out loud for me, hour. That H is totally silent. We actually hear an O sound right at the start. And since it's a vowel sound, we have to use an hour.
Now here's the exact opposite situation. The word university starts with the written vowel U, but listen closely to how we actually say it. University. That U is making a hard consonant U sound when spoken aloud. Therefore, following our golden sound rule, we use a university. You always got to trust your ears over your eyes.
Which leads us nicely into part four, using the correctly.
So now that we've mastered the indefinite side of things, let's look at the definite article. If a and an mean one of many, the is an entirely different beast. You use the when talking about a specific item that both you and the listener already know about. Think of the as a bright, focused spotlight pointing at a very specific item. And honestly, the best news? Unlike a or an, you can use the with singular, plural, countable, and uncountable nouns. It's just incredibly versatile.
Let's break down these three specific contexts so you can easily recognize when you need to turn on the spotlight. First, use it when there's literally only one of something in existence. The sun, the moon, the president. Second, use it when you've already mentioned the thing. Your very first mention is general, like I bought a book, but the second time you bring it up, it becomes specific. The book is very good. And third, use it when it's just perfectly clear from the context which thing you mean, like saying, please close the door. We both know exactly which door needs closing in this room.
All right, part five, it's time to put it to the test.
Since you've got the rules down perfectly now, let's jump straight into a rapid-fire practice. First challenge, I have blank apple in my bag. Take a second, what's the invisible article here?
If you guessed an, you absolutely nailed it. It's an apple, purely because the word apple clearly starts with a vowel sound.
Okay, let's try the next one. Look at blank moon. It is so bright tonight. Just consider for a second how many moons we have up there in our sky.
And the answer is the moon. Since there is only one moon orbiting our planet, it perfectly hits our very first rule for definite articles. We are pointing a spotlight right at it.
All right, how about this scenario? She wants to buy blank new car. Go ahead and take a guess based on the sound of the word right after the blank, which in this case is new.
We use a new car. It's just one general car out of many that she could potentially buy, and new starts with that hard consonant N sound. Okay, here's your final challenge, and this one requires you to look at the context. I saw a dog, blank dog was barking loudly. Notice how a dog has already been introduced in that very first sentence?
Yep, the answer is the dog, because the context shifts after that first sentence. Once we mention a dog, we suddenly both know exactly which animal we're talking about. It transitions from general to specific, so we use the.
You did fantastic on those. Now that you know the rules inside and out, I want to leave you with this final thought. Can you spot the invisible articles hiding in your everyday conversations? Seriously, start listening to the people around you, pay attention to the exact sounds they make, and just watch how these tiny but mighty words shape the entire meaning of our world. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.